Quinn, you were telling me some wild, wild stuff about Vegas Strong, Palantir, Strong AI. Lay it on us, man.
So after we did our thing earlier today, it stuck in my head of like what I'll be connected to, and I didn't have enough factual connections to like Palantir and MGM Resorts. So I stopped and did a little research, and I found that a company or a consulting group out of Silicon Valley, Andreessen Horowitz, had these ocean briefings where they were consulting people to use Palantir software, Bitcoin.
Ocean briefings?
Yeah, it's like what they do for these corporate briefings for these like world leaders and Fortune 500 companies. And specifically, Andreessen Horowitz in 2015 was consulting with MGM Resorts on using Bitcoin with mobile payment software.
Now, Andreessen sounds like the guy who created Netscape. Okay.
It is.
Who's Horowitz?
It's his partner. So the guy who created JavaScript, created pretty much, the modern web browser, was specifically him and his top people were consulting with MGM Resorts on implementing a Bitcoin system.
So implementing a cryptocurrency specific to MGM or actually using Bitcoin?
It's a Bitcoin, what it looks like is they used a Bitcoin style, kind of like Ethereum, where they took Bitcoin and forked it for their own use. But back in 2015, it connects the dot that, around the time of quantum computing, around the time of all the power upgrades in the network here, and that really leads you to the next conclusion that with all the power, with all the casinos, with the connections to, crypto mining, and then you look at all the new slot machines that are in Vegas, they all have GPUs in them.
Now let's explain to people what that means. The graphics processing unit in a computer.
The graphics processing unit deals with floating point calculations and hashing. It's what the AI uses to compute large advanced calculations in a minimal amount of time. They found that the regular microprocessor in the computer wasn't very fast at processing advanced float point calculations, and so they moved it to the GPUs, which is what the slot machines in Vegas all use now with the advanced screens. And then you take into account the problem solving that they would get from the slot machines running matching patterns. Then that would induce you into say that these things could be used for advanced hashing because they're doing advanced matching.
I mean, they've got computers basically all over the floor of every casino.
Yeah.
And anytime you're looking at a slot machine, whether it's being played or not, there's CPU and GPU cycles there that aren't being used. Why wouldn't they use them to be mining cryptocurrency?
Exactly, especially with, I found articles that Peter Thiel was connected to a potential quantum cryptocurrency mining operation in China. And then that brings you to the concluded network of the M-Life card.
Right.
Okay, the M-Life card has a chip on it, and it gives you an ID, and you receive points for everything you do in Vegas on the M-Life card.
So that M-Life card that you and I saw an ad from, I think, Chase Bank, where they're now tying your casino loyalty points reward card to an actual MasterCard credit card.
Number.
Right.
So then from there, what they can do is I was reading articles about how MGM is then linking up with other casinos around the world and the country. They're teaming up with airline companies. So they're using this M-Life rewards points with all these other big companies that every time you fly, you get points. And, so that really, that point is like a little crypto coin, or that point is like a little reward or a stake, or, so now you're starting to see how this big giant system of cryptocurrency is now being used in an isolated market for points at casinos, for plane tickets, for a whole sub-economy that's now forming because of MGM, which is the largest employer in the state of Nevada.
So Quinn, is this all somehow tied to the shooting of October 1st?
Yes, it's looking that it's a high possibility that it is, because when you launch an AI, you need a huge data set of human interactions. When you need a real strong AI, not just like a machine AI, but like a machine AI that's going to emulate human thinking, human interaction. You introduce what's called chaos patterning or chaos theory, where you introduce a whole bunch of chaos, and then the machine takes that big giant field of chaos and it starts reducing and recursing down to smaller and smaller decisions until it gets to an intelligence set. And so the Vegas Strong, because Mandalay Bay was owned by MGM or is owned by MGM, and MGM's connected to the AI, it's really, really getting to be a high percentage that they're really using the Vegas Strong as a cover operation to launch a strong AI backed by cryptocurrency.
And it is interesting that Strong is right there in the name. Now, Laura Loomer sent me a text this morning saying that she had word that employees of MGM were being forced to wear the Vegas Strong t-shirt. I see them selling Vegas Strong memorabilia all over the place.
It's on the building.
Yeah.
When I was at Starbucks, all the Starbucks employees had shirts with it. So that's one way to get complacent buy-in is through a tragic event, because then people will think they need your system because it failed before, so then they'll introduce this whole new thing that's going to save people. And the reasoning for that, the reasoning for me as a person that it's such a big concern, is there's a 90% chance, because of the Andreessen Horowitz document that connects MGM to cryptocurrency, in that same document it connects Palantir as one of the other companies that they promote in their technology stack. So if MGM is using Palantir and the FBI is using Palantir, and Palantir is being used to mine cryptocurrency underground for these people, we have a gigantic collusion.
Now, what were you telling me about the Podesta tie-in?
Now, the Podesta tie-in, to confirm that, I had to go into WikiLeaks and confirm that there was some type of link between MGM Resorts and John Podesta ahead of time.
Right.
And so I went into the Podesta emails on WikiLeaks, and I found a link where John Podesta was communicating directly with the personal assistance of the director of MGM Resorts about a private meeting on November 30th, 2015.
The CEO, Murin.
Murin himself was personally meeting with John Podesta, not one of his executives, not any. Him himself was setting up private meetings on November 30th, 2015 with the guy here.
Now, Quinn, has anybody previously spoken about John Podesta being tied to the CEO of MGM before this live stream?
Never.
Yeah, I haven't heard that before. You mentioned it to me today.
Or Palantir. So Palantir is all over the Podesta emails. It's all over the Clinton emails. This guy is all over the Podesta emails. Harvey Weinstein lived next door to the Clinton and is all over the emails. Kevin Spacey's all over the emails. So with what's coming out now, with all the news about the sexual predators in Hollywood and all the money they're making and all the weird things that are going on, now it's forming that they're using it all to build a creepy future for themselves where they control it with strong AI. And it's really looking like that, especially with that on the billboard, with the connections that you're finding to the consulting where they're specifically talking about using cryptocurrency as a revenue generating model. There's no reason why these casinos, because casinos aren't known for being law-abiding citizens, there's no reason they wouldn't say, hey, let's create a fake market of cryptocurrency, start promoting it, and then it's going to increase our gambling machines are going to go up, our profits are going to go up, and then we're going to control the future, just like in the Back to the Future with Biff, where they changed the future and it's all the casino gambling.
I think one of the most important aspects you might have hit on is this concept of the slot machines using their GPUs to mine cryptocurrency, because you walk through these casinos
and they're always running.
Well, they're always on, and even when they're not being used, you basically have a gigantic network farm of high-powered. I mean, these things have 4K screens.
And they're all connected to a central brain.
All connected to a central brain. They've got 3D graphics processing going on there. I mean, it's well, Joe, Andreessen Horowitz is involved, as Quinn just said, because they're a consulting company
and development firm, and they're venture capitalists that works with Peter Thiel, and so go to Crunchbase.
Crunchbase?
Yeah, just go to Crunchbase and look up Andreessen Horowitz, and you'll see all the technology they've funded or consulted. They're connected to everyone from the Kushners to Thiel to everything. They're probably like one of the top consulting firms in Silicon Valley that would be capable of facilitating the development of this kind of technology.
Joe Napoli knows them. And he's aware of them, as many people are. So it's interesting. And then, of course, the tie-in to Saudi Arabia. I mean, it seems like we've got a number of agendas that, there wasn't one thing that was trying to be done. A lot of people have been talking about how, Paddock was a gun runner, possibly. Go to Pawn Stars and buy a gold coin tomorrow, someone says. Well, listen, if the crowd wants to sponsor the purchase of a gold coin, all you've got to do is go to paypal.me, crowdsource the truth, or become a monthly sponsor on patreon.com, crowdsource the truth. and I will certainly go buy a gold coin if that's what the crowd wants. But so again, we've got this whole plan to turn Las Vegas maybe into the hugest cryptocurrency mining operation in the world, because they've got all these computers around.
And then you do the calculation of power based on the solar panels we found, based on the high volume power lines, and you start calculating that, and there's a certain amount of power that goes into mining a coin. It takes you have a certain amount that you fulfill. So it's like all the power, all the machines that are running with no one ever at them. And so it's really looking like if there's a crypto market being fueled, these people would fuel it because it would facilitate their machines getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then making more and more and more money. Once the AI goes strong, fully strong, we get what's called compound theory. Compound theory is like the way memory runs on a computer: 1 megabyte to 2 megabytes to 4 megabytes to 8 to 16 to 32 to 64 to 128, 256, 512, 1024, 20, 48, that kind of stuff. So the AI compound theory is on itself as it starts growing with these connected machines. And as they run, and they're running 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
All of them.
Right. I mean, someone who owns these machines must be looking at that and think, boy, what a waste if we could only get some rendering or some coin.
Now the question is, do these casinos know what's happening, or is the casino unaware that the machine manufacturers might be doing it?
I have a feeling that they have got very good IT people working for these casinos.
Yeah. So then that goes into that they're all, if it is, that is a very serious thing, because that's literally like, you're literally conspiring to remove the currency of our country to replace it with a cryptocurrency.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Like, we look at this M Life Rewards credit card, and we're talking about, I remember hearing about some divorce case where they were fighting over the frequent flyer points.
Yeah.
Now, that's obviously not a dollar. That's not a currency.
But it's a tangible asset.
Right. You can buy things with it. And the same thing with this M Life, these loyalty programs, I guess. If a casino or a network of casinos could become so big, and now they tie an actual cryptocurrency to that M Life card. I mean, you've said in previous live streams that Walmart is working on a cryptocurrency. I mean, was it a Rothschild who said, "I care not who makes the laws if I control the money"?
Yeah. So why would they let control the money go? So, with Peter Thiel being the early investor in Ethereum, with all the connections to deep web, dark web, criminal networks, it looks like just another way to control the money. Because if these things are crypto miners, like cryptocurrency is sold as, hey, the small guy's going to have a way to compete with the big guy. We can mine our own money. You can't compete with this kind of mining.
Oh, I mean, there's thousands. I wonder how many slot machines there are in Las Vegas.
You can't compete with it.
See,
and if they're mining it offline, like in an isolated mine, and so they don't appear in public, so people don't realize there's these big giant miners in the world.
Right.
What happens the day they go, time to go public with our miners, and it just hits the market, a cryptocurrency, and all these people that really don't know how it works, that go online and they make their YouTube. What happens when these people turn their big giant machines on publicly, and they're like, oh yeah, well, we just got suckered.
Right. All right. So basically, the connection that you've made right now is Andreessen Horowitz was consulting with MGM Resorts
about Bitcoin and mobile payments.
Bitcoin, mobile payments, cryptocurrency, and now maybe all these casino guys weren't thinking about that at all, and now they're thinking, hey, we've got huge networks of computers here. So this says, have you seen that when the police kick the door in on the other room and accidentally find a gun on the floor? That sentence makes no sense. Reading the comments is sometimes treacherous.
Yeah.
Non-taxable income, double dipping in our economy.
Yeah.
Yeah, see people. The other thing that comes to mind is, so we met my friend Andy last night. He was on the live stream with us. And, he's been living in Vegas a long time. He and I are very upset about the fact that hotels are now charging for parking.
Yeah.
Because it used to be that they would give you free steak and free parking and everything, and they just want to get you in here to do the gambling.
So now they don't need.
Well, that's no longer. No, it's not that they don't need it. It's just no longer the attitude of Vegas. The attitude is, if we could charge people for the air, we would.
Yeah.
So why do we want to just make money from people putting money into the slot machine? Every time it's on, every time it's using a bit of electricity, it could be making money by mining cryptocurrency. Pretty fascinating, Quinn. All right, well, I mean, anything else we want to cover in this particular stream?
No, just that, one of the things with these AIs, as they become observed, it's called quantum observer effect.
Yeah.
Once they're observed, we have to be prepared for it, because if these things are mining and they don't want people to know that, and we've actually just stumbled upon something really serious, we could see, things shift, hopefully. Because there's tracers if they're mining, you can trace it. You can trace the companies, you can trace the patterns, you can trace the connections very easily once you know the technology they're using.
So some people here in the comments don't even know what cryptocurrency mining is. And if I understand what you've told me correctly, it's the utilization of some sort of a computer processor to solve mathematical problems,
yes,
to create a block in a chain of blocks that are used to ensure the integrity of the transactions and create a database of everything having to do
trusted records.
Trusted records.
Yeah. So
and
it's
that
beautiful.
Requires a lot of computer power,
Yeah,
which each of these casinos have in them in the form of digital slot machines, which I have actually noticed on this trip. I mean, it happens all the time, but they're more sophisticated than ever. Gigantic 4K screens with really high resolution graphics.
Giant curved 4K screens.
Well, that's OLED technology making the screen, but the fact that they've got such high performance graphics, there's a lot of high power GPUs on the floor in there.
And then the other thing that we saw that I want to point out is that we were actually walking through the floor, and they had a digital blackjack machine that was actually being run by an AI chatbot.
How do you know that it was run by an AI chatbot?
Because those chatbot avatars can only get their movements and interactions and the math to run the blackjack game one way. I mean, I can show you the code. I can build you a virtual blackjack chatbot tomorrow. So if the code's out there, there's only a few chatbot platforms that you can integrate into an embedded system. The Alice bot being one of them that we're all so familiar with.
People in the comments think that I should take you to the buffet, Quinn. I think people think you need something to eat. All right, so let's wrap up this live stream. Quinn, I should also add that when we said goodbye earlier today, you were so struck by this information that you turned around and came back to Vegas.
I did. It's really important that Palantir, cryptocurrency, and MGM Resorts, that I found some connection between them that could be validated by a high level, not some website. And finding that connection in the Andreessen Horowitz document, it really puts the nail in the coffin for confirmation research.
And that's the most important thing for people to understand. People are making comments like, Quinn is sleeping in a tent. I mean, Quinn is not just some guy who's out here coming up with these outlandish sounding ideas. This is stuff you're getting from their own documentation, meetings that have occurred, connection between MGM Resorts and John Podesta. They're all interested in cryptocurrency. If it's the money of the future, I mean, these are not guys that sort of sit there and allow the future to pass them by. They're making aggressive moves. I mean, Bitcoin might have gotten out in front of them for a little while,
but not anymore.
They're aware of it, and they're doing something to...
and they're doing it behind firewalls and VPNs and blockchains and onion sites.
Here's a good comment. It says, Quinn is a hero. Quinn is a genius.
Thank you.
There we go.
Just trying to help, because this stuff is really hard to understand. So hopefully if we just know it's there, it just is helpful.
A lot of positive Quinn comments here. Janet F says, Quinn is a genius. Tell him I said so.
Thank you.
All right. Everybody should go subscribe to Quinn on YouTube. Where can everybody find you, Quinn?
You can find me at rayhula.club. You can join there, or paypal.me/rayhulaclub, or patreon.com/rayhulaclub.
Yep, there we go. Oh, and people are also asking about Vegas Madam. So what happened was we had some real serious network issues on the Vegas Madam interview. So I had to cut the live stream, and it is uploading right now. We continued the interview just pre-recorded, and it's uploading right now from extremely slow Wi-Fi. and going to get some food, and hopefully the interview will be there soon. I'm interested in hearing people's feedback on that interview, and I hope everybody has enjoyed the work that Quinn and I have been doing